This story is called The Mushroom Collection. The mirror in my cabin was not very big, only about 12 by 18 inches, but it was unexpectedly ornate, with an elaborately carved fake wood frame and decorative finials on each corner. It looked like a storybook mirror, the kind you might hang above a little girl's dresser. The fact that it was nailed to two studs in a plywood cabin with a tin roof made it extra funny. And, apparently, a good hiding place, which I discovered one night when I noticed what looked like a mushroom sticking out from between the wall and the mirror. Investigating further, I pulled out 14 more dried mushrooms and laid them in a row on my desk. In the glow of my lantern, they were perfect, each about 3 inches tall, each with a beige stem and a vivid magenta top. Somebody had worked very hard on this collection. Living in the woods, I'm always aware of the rummage sale activities of the wildlife around us. We clean squirrel and mice nests out of our buildings each spring, and then we watch as our furry neighbors pile up stuff: pine cones, bones, pieces of string, bits of plants, other animals' TV remotes, just waiting for us to move out again. Occasionally, some creature scurries by with something of ours: gophers trailing grain from my barn, squirrels carrying friendship bracelets and pieces of candy. Once a marmot was discovered to be harboring fluffy red yarn and a tiny teacup underneath the fort. But this mushroom cache was still impressive. Although I work at a church camp, my scriptural insights tend to be of the rise and shine and give God the glory, glory type. But the stash of mushrooms on my desk reminded me of the Bible study text from that week. It was the one where God tells Moses to tell the people not to hog all the manna that was falling in the wilderness. Manna, you may remember, was the tasty cornflake-like substance that God had caused to fall in the desert when the Israelites were complaining and wishing that they had never left the food courts and falafel stands of Egypt. Advised to take only what they needed, the Israelites promptly rushed out and gobbled up every bit of manna they could find, transforming it into manna hot dish, banana manna bread, and red jello with chunks of manna in it. God's point was that the people should trust their Creator to provide for them each day, that really this wasn't God's first rodeo. But of course, the people didn't pay attention. The Israelites who hoarded manna and didn't share saw the excess go bad almost immediately, and by the next day, they couldn't even give those boxes of malto manna away. This just irritated God, who then refused to stop and ask for directions, which is why the Israelites wandered for 40 years through a desert the size of Iowa and never found the interstate. I probably would have annoyed God, I thought, imagining myself out there with a bucket collecting extra manna just in case. I've always been a planner, a rationer, someone who worries incessantly about the future. Between teaching school and working at camp, I have never been poor or hungry for even 15 minutes. But in the back of my head, I'm always doing an inventory, making and checking lists I've made and checked 1,800 times over the last months, as a health emergency, civil unrest, and a catastrophic lack of leadership have made desert wandering and manna gathering look like the good old days. I know that I'm luckier than most people. I have a job, I'm healthy, but I still have worried every single day, as so many people have for months or years, as some people have all their lives. My part of the collective fatigue of a nation is tiny, but palpable. We know that economies rebound, and that even long desert journeys come to an end, but it's hard to trust when the next spring will appear, when the next manna will be delivered. And so that night in my cabin, I looked at the mushrooms on my desk, and then picked them up and carefully stacked them back in behind the mirror. I would be gone in a week or two, but whoever had stowed these mushrooms was counting on that treasure to be there for the winter. For a moment I scanned my shelf, wondering what else I had to offer. Dental floss, a watch that didn't work, a couple of antidepressants. I rummaged through the pockets and found 2 pieces of bubble gum, stale, but still in their wrappers. I added these to the mushroom collection and turned off my lamp. Be of good courage. The manna is always going to be there. We miss you.